you, honey. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I am super excited for our guest this week. And you guys, it is month end. We have 26, 27. How many days are there 30 or 31 this month? But I know we only have like 4 or 5 days left in the month, and everybody is pushing so hard. And there is nothing like getting on a Zoom like this and just getting pumped up for the rest of the week. And if you guys were able to catch the Lavelle goat training, this has kind of been like a theme this month. Every week this month, I've interviewed somebody that was on the same panel I was on in that training. And as soon as we did that panel and I heard from these amazing ladies that were on with me, I was like, we need way more than 5 minutes. They gave us 5 minutes to talk. And one of those ladies was Brandi Panson. And I was like, immediately after the training I got on, and I was like, can you guys be on one of my Tuesday leadership calls? And they all were so gracious to say absolutely yes. And Brandi was one of those people, and I'm super excited to bring her on today and for her to just share her story and tips with us, because I have no doubt that somebody on here today needs to hear what Brandi is about to share with us. So Brandi, if you can unmute yourself.
Hi everybody.
Hi, Brandi. Oh my gosh. Thank you, first of all, so much for taking the time out of your day to hop on with us and just kind of pour into everybody. And I kind of wanted to jump right in and start in the beginning. Like, what did you do before network marketing? And then did you do any kind of network marketing before Lavelle? If you did, were you successful, or were you kind of just like dabbling? And then how did you find Lavelle? And then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again for inviting me. This is awesome. So no, I had no network marketing experience at all. For me, prior to Thrive, just, I don't want to say just, but unfortunately, college dropout. I'm in West Virginia, and I always wanted to be X-ray tech. And for whatever reason, I'm originally from PA, and honestly, West Virginia is super close to where, it's like a 20-minute drive. The college just swallowed me up in the first month, and I was like, nope, not for me. And I just kind of, I just knew it wasn't my jam. So I kind of ducked out of that. But I had also met my husband, who he started his business. I mean, you talk about an entrepreneur. He started his business when he was 13. And I know that sounds insane, but he really did. His dad and his family, they all had businesses. And he was in like the coal industry. Coal is huge in West Virginia and the Eastern Panhandle. Or it really was at that time. And he's like, I met him when he was 17. I honestly thought he was 25, 26 years old. I was like 18, so older than my husband, which he reminds me of that all the time. But I honestly just thought, that guy, who's this guy? Like, I was just impressed by just how it was like there was never something he couldn't do, so he had, by the time he was 18, he had 3 businesses. And I just kind of fell into, I don't even know that he asked me, but I was waitressing at the time, and I just kind of fell into working with him and helping him do billing and like things like that. And then we started a family, and so I have 2 kids. My son is 15 and my daughter is 11. And I mean, my daughter is like attached at my hip. She's with me all the time. Like she's been since like day one. And I have done this. Like she probably could tell I know she could tell you how to VIP 800, how to get product for free, because she's been on she's always in the area. Like she has like an office next to me, and like she does her thing. So, and she has a little vet thing that she started, like a little training business in this building, in one of my husband's buildings that we have. I kind of took it over. And so I've got my Thrive office in here, and she has a little training thing with animals because we're big, huge animal people. Anyway, so for me, when I first started Thrive, I didn't think I needed it. I was training for a marathon. I was healthy in my version of healthy. I've never been like a great like fruits, vegetables kind of girl, but I have always done more than I probably should. Running and gymnastics and that kind of thing. I love to walk on my hands, be upside down, do all that kind of fun stuff. And when I had kids, like I kind of took a back seat, but then once I kind of found my groove and helped with my husband's work, and we just kind of did things together. I don't know if anybody works with their husbands or spouse, but it's a stressful situation. Like it can go from here to here, and like, in a matter of minutes, but we figured out how to work that out in the beginning. And so when Thrive kind of came into my life, my mother-in-law, my husband, my father-in-law, my parents, my brother-in-law, we all work together in the family business. So we're all in the same offices, and my mother-in-law started Thrive first. She was taking a ton of vitamins. They were all over her desk, and we had just recently lost my brother-in-law. So it was about a year into it, and she started thriving. And, if you can, I hope no one has experienced this, but like her being her first son and not having him, we didn't even recognize her anymore, honestly. And so my husband was still having her in the office with us, and she came to me and was like, I'm just tired. Like, I just don't. So anyway, I found Thrive. I'm like, why don't you try this? Like, somebody showed it to me 6 months prior. And I just was like, I don't need that. And we got it for her. So after seeing her, I mean, literally it changed her so much, just in the state of where she was at, just kind of like, she had a little bit of a sparkle back. Like, and it was quick that she was like already like, she was humming, that was a big thing for her. She sings all the time. And so like I'd be in my office and she'd be dusting up underneath of my desk and humming. And I didn't notice it right away, but about a week into it, I was like, how's that thing doing? You like that sticker on your arm? I was kind of like messing with her a little bit. And she's like, I don't know, but like, this is amazing. And so we talked about her getting her next month. She's like, I don't know if I can afford it. And I was like, how about I just buy it? Because she would not take money from me or my husband. So she told me about how you can get it for free. I thought, I'm just going to buy that. I'm not taking it. I'll give it to her if, need be. But at least then we can get her another month of this, because she can't stop doing whatever she's doing. And then there you go. So I got it. My order came. I looked at it and I was like, I don't need that. And then I still was just kind of curious about it. The sticker is what got me. Like, I was like, I want to coordinate a little outfit with that sticker, and I'm going to see how that goes. I honestly didn't know what to expect. No one really told me or anybody or her what Thrive was. It's so different now as it was 5 years. This is 5 years ago. So anyway, I started Thrive. I was like, I'm just going to try that. And I love the shake. I love the sticker, and it I didn't feel anything. I was like looking at her, I'm expecting what she was experiencing, like kind of the buzzing around and singing and stuff in the office. And I just didn't notice anything, but I didn't take vitamins before. When I was pregnant with my 2 kids, I couldn't even take prenatals. They put me on Flintstones, go figure. I hate those now, but when I was a kid, I loved them. And it's funny how things change when you get older. I was like, that I couldn't even choke one down, but I did, just to have vitamins. And after I had my kids, I was back off of them. I didn't want anything to do with them because they just made me sick to think about it. So when I started this, I thought that was going to happen. And it didn't. And that's what I noticed the first couple of days. I noticed I wasn't sick. And then from there, it was 8 days in, I felt something. And it was that more of a, like, somebody said it, and it's the perfect description of glasses on the brain moment. I had that. I still have that. And I guess for people, when I try to describe it, I just say, like, you don't realize you're walking around in like this big fog until it's gone. And then you're like, what in the world have I been doing? Everyone just thinks that they should just experience getting older and feeling like some of these random getting old kind of old lady symptoms, and you don't have to. So that was one of them. I was pleasantly surprised. And from that moment, so that was day 8, I didn't shut up about it. Like, I was kind of quiet about it till day 8, but day 8 I felt it, and I started telling my friends about it. And it wasn't so much like, hey, do you want to try Thrive, or have you heard of Thrive? It was like, give me your card, you're getting this. Like, and that was it, because I went right to my BFFs first, and everybody started thriving. So I got my product for free on day 8, and it was like the next day, somebody got me on the phone, Tara Ludovici, I don't know if you guys know her. She would be like one of my upline 200Ks, and literally has become my best friend. I didn't even know her before this. But when I actually decided to be a promoter, having no experience, not knowing what any of this was, or what to do, or how to do it, or was there somebody I was going to let down, or a sales quota, or whatever, I knew a friend of mine that it's kind of like we went through a couple people to get me started thriving, or to get my mother-in-law started thriving. So this girl sent me a message. She's like, hey, do you mind if I send you, or I get you on a quick 3-way call with a friend of mine? Like, you got your product for free, and we're so excited, and we're making money off of you at this point. Like, we just want to talk to you about being a promoter. And I was like, I had like a big red X. I'm like, no, I heard that word, and I thought, now I got to quit this. Like, I really like it. I just started getting like nervous about like, what are the expectations? Because I've never done this. And then from there, I got on the phone, and I literally all day long, I thought about how I was going to tell this person no, because I'm a yes person. I will say yes to pretty much anything. I've recently learned to kind of come off of that, but for a long time, I've always been about, I don't want to disappoint anybody. If this girl wants to talk to me on the phone, I'm going to talk to her on the phone, but I'm going to just like let her down easy. Like I had no intention of it. And then I got on the phone, I heard Tara's voice, and she told me I wasn't going to let anybody down, and you might as well do it. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And that was it. So like I kind of came into this with a thought of what I thought it was because a couple of my friends had done other companies, and I just never really wanted to do it or have any part of it. I don't know why. I didn't have any like thoughts of how to do it or not, if I'd be successful, but I wasn't interested. But this became something that was like a no-brainer because I love the product so much. So, why not? So that was pretty much it. I think I hit those first couple of questions, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's like huge to point out that a lot of people are scared that they might be letting someone down, or what does this entail? So I think it's so important that when somebody's explaining this, when they say to me, well, what's the difference like between customer and promoter? I always make it sound so simple, but I always put out there, look, this is going to be your business. If you just want to kind of chill with it, earn some free product, totally fine. If you want to go further, that's fine too. You do whatever you want with it. Please don't think that you're letting anybody down or anything. And I think that puts people at ease, because a lot of people are thinking, oh gosh, I'm going to be put on this team. I'm going to be put in this business, and people are going to expect me to do certain things, and I don't have the time. Like all these things go through people's heads, and it's kind of scary. So kind of putting them at ease. And I just love your story, because you were kind of like a free customer under a customer, or a customer under a customer, trying to help somebody that you loved thrive free. You saw that work in someone else. And I think that that's so huge, because your belief level in Lavelle really didn't come originally through you. It came through your mother-in-law, which is like so huge. But how, so you came in, you jumped in, were they like, okay, these are the VIP bonuses, go get them? Did you get both VIP bonuses? Did you go 4K in 30 days?
Actually, yes. And I will tell you, it was, I don't know how long exactly you've been here, Lisa, but like 5 years ago, it was so different than now. We didn't have Zoom. We didn't have like FaceTime, didn't even use that. And I hit VIP 800 in 6 days. I didn't even know that I hit VIP 800. I had no idea. And then I had a message from the same girl that got me on a three-way call. She was like, girl, you just hit VIP 800. And I was like, that's awesome. What? Okay. I didn't know what it was. And then that's when she told me what VIP 1600 was. So I still had time, and I was like, okay, what do I need for that again? And she was like, well, you see this and this. And I had already kind of like tipped over. So I think I just needed one more customer and 2 more promoters at that point. And I was like, well, okay, I'll try to do that. Again, what do I need to do for the promoters? So I just introduced her to the promoters. And that was it. I felt like it was a good pass off, because I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just like sharing it. And then I hit VIP 1600, and I hit that on 14 days because I was down to the last promoter. And I think I just needed to I didn't feel like it was really, I posted on Facebook a little bit. I was very much like, I'm not taking any selfies. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Because 5 years ago, again, totally different. And it's so funny to kind of see how we do things now. And sometimes I think, and I'm going to put this on myself also. When I look at how I came into this, I've tried both ends of the spectrum. Everybody kind of ticks differently. If somebody would have came to me and said, okay, here's your VIP 800, this is what you need, this is what you do, blah, 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 and ran it all on me the first couple of days, I would have backed off. And just because I can't handle the heat in the kitchen when it comes down to letting somebody down, because even though it would have been, my money and all that, my business, I really wasn't looking at this like a business. I was just looking at it like, well, I'll just try to do that. And I thought I'm going to get my Thrive like at a discount. I could help my mother-in-law. And so it kind of came into, so if somebody was like looking at me and going, okay, she's going to do this and she's going to do that, like that would have freaked me out. So it's so good that I came into this 5 years ago versus now, because I don't know. And so I have actually felt the pressure of putting the pressure on another promoter. Like, hey, you're at this point and, you know, you only need this and this is all you need, like in the very first day. And I think sometimes, you know, we honestly have to listen. That's where like that listening comes into place, listening to what or how that person is. If it's a stranger and I brought them into my team, or it's somebody else's promoter that they've connected me to, like, I've got to like talk to them a second, at least just try to get a little bit of their energy, a little bit of their vibe, because if they're like me, they don't want all that information, and it scares them. And I don't know if anybody on this team has ever had like somebody come in, they were like all running and crazy about it and excited. They didn't hit their VIP 800 and they just were like, I'm done, I quit. And that's happened to me. And so like, and it was probably because it was a person that was like me, and I just didn't like feel that from them at first, and I put too much on them too soon. So I've been really, I mean, I guess for me, like it happened, and it only happened for me because I didn't feel any pressure from it, from like, you know, letting someone down. I just don't want to disappoint anybody. So when I hit 4K, that was 27, 28 days. And, you know, I was kind of spilled over on that 1600. And it just like, I mean, it was like, I looked up and there all of a sudden was 4K. Again, I wasn't 100% sure what that even meant, what I needed to do. But while I was kind of going towards that, I learned quickly that just because I've been around my husband and like being in like, I guess not an entrepreneur myself, but just kind of seeing how business worked. At that point, I kind of had like a light switch go off and go, okay, well, like, I just want to help somebody get these bonuses. Like I just got them, because that was super cool having that extra cash. And that's where I kind of right away learned to jump in and try to help my promoters. And I didn't really even look to see where I was at. I didn't even know what I needed for a car bonus at that time, because it was like, I was in my second month. And I really didn't even have the full Thrive experience in my system at that point. You know, like when you think about 5 weeks in, and then I hit my 12K 7 weeks in, and I was like, now what do I do? You know, like it just started going at that point. So I just got really good at in the very beginning, not like, I guess, you know, you get so excited and sometimes that comes off as like pressure to someone. And so I never really wanted to do that. I'm sure I did do that a couple times and many times probably, but when I hit the auto bonus, I just knew that I wanted to help other people do that. And I had one phone call, and this was right in that same time frame. I had one phone call from a girl that I knew just didn't have a good situation where she was at in her marriage and even financially. And she called me bawling her eyes out, and she made $28 on a Tuesday, and she was just like in tears. And so that, for me, I'll cry thinking about it, because it's that one story that it's like, it kind of wraps up in my why, but it's that one story that just it dug into me quick, because I was kind of in that position. Although my husband has been amazing and has been like the one that support our family, I didn't even know what our house payment was. Like, he's always taking care of me. And when I earned my Escalade, I actually had an Escalade. I know that sounds like, when I think about it now, I just want to like go, oh, like just that's nauseating. But when I think about that, and he didn't believe it, because my husband was incredibly against this, even though it helped his mom, it helped me. He saw me like kind of starting to break off and do my own thing. And at that time, I was really actually looking for a business. I was going to start a boutique. Like, honestly, I had my daughter and I loved like getting her all cute, like the bows and all that stuff. And I wanted to kind of go that direction. But then I started focusing on this, and I kind of let that kind of go to the side. But my husband was incredibly skeptical about it, didn't want any part of it, wasn't going to take it, didn't think this business was real. And until he saw that $800 go into my account. And I remember him coming into my office, and I was like, look, I got paid today. I think I get that car bonus. He came in and he looked at it and leaned over my shoulder, and he was like, and that was it. He didn't say anything else. He just gave me like the head nod and like walked into his office. And I thought, well, I guess it's real. Like, this is really, but you know, they start paying me for a car I already had. Like, how do you deny that? So for me, I hit these ranks pretty quickly. And when I was at 12K and starting to kind of like, I knew I wanted to do more with this. I wanted to grow more with this. And I saw that like, it was right at the time they were qualifying for Cabo. I had my sights set on that. Like, cause I never really set like, oh, I want to go 200K. Like, oh, I want to be the top rank. Didn't even know what 200K even meant. I just kind of set goals for myself that were realistic, because I don't like pressure, but I wanted to like tack on 10 grand every month. Like, I kept saying to myself, I'm gonna go 10 grand. And I started running team promos pretty quickly too. And I didn't have like a ton to throw out, but I did. And my team caught on to that. And I actually had a couple runners that were running the same way I was. And we just would connect. It was almost like a real good, well-oiled machine going. And that's really how we grew very fast, I think. There's others that have grown pretty quickly, but I just knew early on to focus in on like important things like VIP 800 that I had no idea what it was. Once I helped a couple people hit that, I was like, I'm zoning in on that. Free product, that's it. So I went more on that. There you go. Sorry.
So you went, so how long between 12 and 40, 40 and 80 and 80 and 200? What was the time span?
Okay, so 12K, I hit that in 7 weeks. And then 40K in Cabo trip, it was 4 months. And then from 40K to 80K, it was like 10, 11 month span. And then from 80K to 200K, which was the absolute hardest trek for me because it was, like, got to do that all over again. That was a lot. It went, so 19 months. So there was about an 7 month span from 80K to 200K. So 19 months we hit 200K.
That's incredible. I mean, and that's like what I want everybody on here to understand is that is not normal. Okay, guys, like most people, I always tell people when they come in, it's going to take you time to build a business. Most people don't just come in and within 2 years go 200K. Like that is like 1%, it's like not everybody gets to do that. And I think sometimes we also, one of the things I love about this particular call or Zoom every week is the fact that we kind of get raw and real. And a lot of people on here think, you go 200K, it's smooth sailing from there. Life's just amazing. Nothing bad happens. And, you're like immune to those things once you're at 200K. And it's just not the case. And a lot of people don't understand behind the scenes, like not only is life happening, I mean, you've been doing this for 5 years. I'm sure life has happened. But on top of that, things in your business happen. And there's times that you want to throw in the towel. There's times that you're like, well, what the heck is going on? There's times, sometimes people lose rank. Sometimes people lose bonuses. What are some of the things that stick out to you in the last 5 years that have been hurdles that you've had to really get over?
Yeah, I'm glad you're pointing that out. And that's why when you told me last night what this Zoom was about, like, it's the truth, because everybody just sees, like, we all say the highlight reel and all that, like on Facebook. Because like, if you're not in that same team, you're watching other people. And that's kind of a love and hate that I have for Facebook and social media, because you start looking around, you're like, oh my gosh, she's so polished, she looks great. And you want to all of a sudden be that person. And then you start kind of changing everything up. Oh, you got to have the backgrounds, you got to have all that stuff. You don't need any of that stuff. Like, I think when I look at like where growth kind of slows down, and myself included, is when you start just looking around and going, oh, I should be like that. I should be like this. So that comparison will just like stifle you. And so it happened. It's happened to many people on my team, myself included. We've all been there. And so it isn't that just continual rise and you never ever have any issues. Everybody else in your team deals with the stuff. It is the exact opposite. Like, I think leadership is incredibly, incredibly important in this. And that's always been my favorite part of this. Like, it really has. And for me, like when someone quits, or, unfortunately, and I hate even saying the words out loud, but when somebody goes somewhere else to maybe another company, or, like you people, I mean, it's the truth. Like, I kind of came into this with this happening, but, people get sick, like, and you also, people have kids, like, there's great things that happen, and then there's things that are awful that happen. And, it's all, you're supposed to continue to keep this ball rolling. And I think so we hit 200K, and I don't think, and I could be wrong, but when we went 200K, it was 2016. And I don't think that there was any like bonuses yet at that point, right? So it was November 2016. We knew we were about 30,000 from hitting that in November. I went all in. My husband was on board at that point. Like, he's a business guy. Like, we, like numbers, and just crunched it all, focused on hitting that. And we did. It was great. There was a double, triple in that month, and then it was December happens, and December is like, Christmas time. That's the one and only time. And I'll tell you, that was my first good kick in the gut, was we didn't maintain 200K that December. That was the one and only time we didn't keep 200K. So I'm proud of that. But I also know, like, when that happened that month right after, that about like killed me. And I was like ready to say, oh, I suck. Like I shouldn't have got that. We shouldn't have did this, blah, blah, blah. But January came around. And so here's the next test. They launched the big bonuses of like rank advancement. And I don't think that there had ever been that before. So here we just hit 200K in November 2016, had a lower month, kind of went a little backwards just a little bit in December. And then here comes the big announcement of earning that, if you go 200K this month, you're going to get a $200,000 bonus. And you want to talk about like I just thought, oh my gosh, like we could have waited. We should have waited. We would have hit 200K, we would have hit this bonus, blah, blah, blah. So I honestly, like when things like that happen, I just go, you know what? It just wasn't part of the plan. It is totally fine. Like I was defeated a little bit. And my husband also hit 80K the month that I hit 200K. So we both like started building strong teams. And, I knew early on to why not have 2 car bonuses on our family? Why the heck? Like because I had him, I'm so thankful to like kind of look at the business end and go, what's more realistic here? What's smart to do? What isn't? So he hit 80K, I hit 200K. If we would have waited instead of pushing and going crazy in November, we would have earned $280,000 bonus in January. But what are you going to do? Focus on that or continue to grow? So I was like, I know I've got people close to going 200K. So I'm going to focus on helping them. Like we didn't get this bonus, but we're going to help them get the bonuses. Cause we're really, and I think we had like, I can't remember. It was like, if you go, however, if you get 200Ks or brand new 200Ks, then you could get $1 million bonus or whatever it was. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to work with them and we'll take whatever happens. Right. So that was a big, gut punch, but I didn't focus on it too long. Now I will say my teammates, sometimes they would throw that up to me like, oh gosh, doesn't that make you mad? And I'd be like, if I'm not mad, you shouldn't be mad. Like I'm okay about it. It is what it is. It's not our time, whatever. And so also flying under the radar has helped, I think, our team grow consistent and grow more organically. I know that sometimes when people get all this attention, it like kind of makes you go, and that would have been me. I feel like if I would have had a lot of like this like radar on me, I would have like freaked out like that. I like to be in front of my team, but I don't like to be in front of anybody else. And when I had to do that GOAT training, that about killed me. Like I was so freaked out with all that. I don't like, and if I would have had to get up in front on stage with you guys and like get up there and speak, I wouldn't have been able to do it, or somebody would have been carrying me off, because that's just, I cannot. So when I started helping my team, we had that setback, which really wasn't that first not hitting 200K. Then I started getting an excessive leg. And I don't know if anybody has dealt with that. I'm sure you have. I don't think you can go 200K without being close to that. And so to me, I didn't understand that. And that was in my head a lot, and I run promos here? What do I do here? So that was kind of like a big stressor that I had. Sometimes I would like throw my hands up in the air and say, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Like I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to quit, and not to say that like quit because I don't love this. And, I always have felt like I don't have that, most people have been in other companies when they've done this. And I'm like, just totally clueless when it comes to it. And sometimes I think that works for you, and sometimes I think it, kind of goes against you. So I've always had that. We have had loss of legs. Like, I lost an entire 80K leg. You want to talk about like another gut punch, like that has happened, over the last 2 years. I have had, conflict in teams, we all experience that. And then we become like a principal. Like, I've been on phone calls with a couple promoters and thought, this is not why I do this. And my daughter, who is always around me, she's like, Mom, like, why are these adults like arguing? And I'm like, this is crazy to me. This is not why we do this. So like things like that, like there's always going to be something. There's always going to be somebody's got a problem. Somebody always comes to me with like, okay, this is happening. Why, why are you not running this? Or why am I not getting this? Or why am I not here? And so I think I take that more personally than probably they do. Like, if somebody doesn't reach a rank, like it literally makes me lose sleep, because I don't want to ever lose 200K, but I also never want my car driver, if you have an auto bonus, I don't want you to lose that. So I will like zone in. We do a lot of like breaking down legs and breaking down networks. And I learned that early on too. When I was trying to go towards my goal, I was just looking at other legs and like, where's the fall off? And then the following month, we would kind of pivot and kind of correct that, focus on promos that way. But, you know, I've lost legs. I've lost 200K, or I've lost 12Ks. I've lost 80K. I've lost a lot. I mean, I've lost some friends. I've found out some friends like were not who I thought they were. I've actually found friendships and people that I never expected. And that's, you know, sometimes that's like, that's the real deal stuff there, that when I think of this company and everything that it's brought me, I'm grateful for, you know, like where we are and how far we've come. But I also am just, I just want more for everyone else on my team. I think that's, you know, and so when they fail or when they feel like they fail, it just literally stifles me almost sometimes. So I don't know. I'm going to pass it back to you, Lisa. I feel like
No,
I'm
you know what I was just thinking is how similar our story is. It's so funny because um the same thing with me, same year as you. I literally went 200K in October, lost it in November, didn't hold it in December. January they announced the freaking bonuses and I get it back and I didn't qualify for it. That's like the story of my life in network marketing. I have missed every big bonus. I have never gotten one. It's always been a day late, a dollar short. Like it has been so frustrating. Like, and to watch other people on your team, you know, you get that whole you know, jealousy thing. Like I'm watching other people on my team grab these bonuses and it's like I deserve those bonuses too, you know, and then you have to like get over it because it can set people back. I've actually signed people up that the second they don't hit a bonus, they're done. Or I've had people in just like you, 80K, 200Ks that'll run for one of these bonuses that when they miss it, they give up. That's like it for them. And I always think about I I can't even imagine 10 years I've been in this industry. If every single time I didn't hit a bonus, if I would have quit, I would be waiting tables again. Like, thank God I kept going even through the times that I was frustrated and I missed something and it didn't go my way. It's just like crazy. But I was also thinking about 80K. That's huge, losing an 80K leg. And it's like, you know, one of the things I tell everybody is the same people that get you, the people that got you to 12K aren't going to probably be the same people that get you to 40K. And the people that got you to 200K won't bring you to $1 million. Like you've got to constantly building. And, you know, a testament to you, a shout out to you for having a good business to where you lost that 80K leg and you were still able to sustain your rank because you weren't just counting on the people you already had to build you all the way to wherever, you know, you've always worked your business. And that I think is probably one of the hardest things ever is a leg you've invested in, friends you've made. When somebody leaves, whether they go to another company, whether they, you know, just decide they don't want to do this anymore, most of the time it's they think it's going to be easier to go somewhere else. It is so frustrating and you feel like all of these emotions, betrayal, you feel scared. Scared is a huge one. You're like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? How many people are going to decide to follow this person? All these things start going through your head and it's freak out time. Like, were you freaking big time?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, when you're saying all that, I'm just thinking, like, oh, yeah, that happened. I mean, like, there's even more than just that. You like, I mean, we've had people on our team and like big time leaders that, you know, left or like was thinking of leaving or, you know, like, and I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, that's it. Like, and I had that moment of like, that's it. She goes, I'm done. But then I really like dug in on myself and I'm like, that's not, I mean, if she goes, like, I think the key in that, and I'm not saying that honestly, like I know everything about it, but how we sustain through at least losing an 80K, losing many 12Ks, was like, you know, eventually it's very hard to connect with everybody on your team. I mean, I can't imagine how many levels you have, Lisa, to where you know who everyone is or you know where people are, but like, and that's impossible to kind of keep all those relationships going or have that you know, like that talent. But I early on and for a very, very long time, like I knew and I still know like what some teams are doing, even like if they're 40K or 80K does it. Like I've never been afraid, and maybe this comes from my being naive and not ever having any experience with this, but I didn't know like some people would get upset if I reached out to somebody on my team and, hey, how are you doing? Like, you want to be on a call? Do you want to like do a Zoom? Can I do, can I interview? Like I've always done that. I don't know if you have that issue or not, but like some people get mad about that. And I'm like, why on earth are you not like okay with me reaching out to somebody in my own team that may be under you? But like, I think I heard early on, and this was a call that Paul Gravett, maybe it was Jason did, and they were like, like that's not your team. Like, you've got your own business, but like, yeah, they may be a part. Sorry, my dog's like right next to me. He's always also next to me all the time. But they were like something like, that's not your team. Yeah, they're a part of your team. Like, they're in your leg, whatever. But like, you're your own business, and they're on their, like, everybody has a company. But I guess that's where some people get like really controlling about. My team sees me a lot. They're connected with me a lot. I want to be connected in their teams. I want to be able to, sorry, I hope my internet's not messing up. I got a little message there. I want to be able to, like, I want them to feel like they can reach out to me. Like, I'm in my leader updates a lot. I'm in my team page a lot. Like, I've always been, and I've always also tried to like find leadership wherever I could, because I can't do it all myself. There's got to be other leaders, and I also don't want people to feel like they don't have that in them to become a leader. Like, I didn't know what that would mean or what that would take. Like, I just kind of started doing it on my own. Leaders like in the brand new teams, because they're the only way the ship's going to keep rolling. And if you lose one, you lose a 200K, or if you lose an 80K person, there's still an entire team. And yeah, I guess if they go to another company, which has happened, there's that. But at the same time, like, I'm very loyal. Like, I mean, if I've been loyal to you, you can't get rid of me. You can't shake me if you tried. Like, I am incredibly loyal. And I feel like if people don't have that in them, it's like, at the end of the day, I can't make anybody stay here. I can't make anybody like change their mind about something. But I just like your own customers, they're having an incredible experience. They've lost weight. They've got all these things, but they're like, I'm not sure it's working. Same thing, like, in their business. Like, if you don't want to stay, that's okay. I can't make you. But I also want people to like feel that, like, man, Brandi's been riding with me since day one. Like, she's helped me do this. But like, some people don't care, but some people also feel that in them. Like, there's more to it, like there's more than just cut and dry and not being in front of your team. Like, there's a lot of leaders in the company that I feel like, man, how do they get there? And then when you ask them, they don't know. They just like rode out, like you said, kind of ride that success up. But there are people that are in the foundation of your team and in the grind all the time. And like, I could like say, hey, everybody just kind of do it, and I'm going to go do this. But like, I just can't. It's like in my blood. Like, I sleep and dream about it. I think about it. It's the first thing I want to do when I get up. Like, that's just kind of like where I think when you lose teams that are like really big and part of your obviously volume, it's like you're just losing that person. You're not losing the entire network of that team if you've been in there and connected with them. So I don't know. That's kind of
Oh my
like,
gosh, Brandi, I can't even enough tell you how much everything you just said rocks, because you guys, this is why you don't have to be as scared. If someone leaves, as long as you've been being a leader and digging in, my theory is I don't care where you are on my team, you're still on my team. And one of the things that's always boggled my mind, every book I've ever read on leadership and all the self-development that I've done, it always boggles my mind when there's a leader under me that gets mad if I'm helping someone on their team. That is
crazy.
it, honestly, and I hope everyone on here is listening to this. If you're getting upset that someone in your upline is helping someone in your downline, you need to get over yourself. You are only hurting yourself, and more than that, you're hurting other people. You're nobody's dictator. You're not somebody's boss. People run their own businesses. We have several uplines just for that. Not every single person is going to get along with you. Not everyone is going to get inspired by you. All I care about is that they're inspired by someone. And whoever that is, awesome. I'm not going to deter that. But, there's people that I talk to in other companies that are just like, man, I wish I could get my upline to help my downline. Man, I wish I could get, look, you are blessed if you have people in your upline working with people in your downline. And I'm always grateful when there's someone on my team that I'm just not meshing with, or maybe that doesn't care for me. When I have one of my uplines like Chastity or Amber that's able to take over and step in, I am grateful for that, because even though I'm not that person's cup of tea, I still want them to succeed. This is life. Not everybody's going to be somebody we get along with or like, or that likes us. That's just life, right? But that doesn't mean they don't deserve this opportunity. They don't deserve to succeed. And that's the beauty of this kind of business, is you have several people that you can go to, sideline, upline, downline, that motivate and inspire you. And you need to get over your damn self. I'm sorry, guys, but you do. If you have any kind of mentality where you want your team to only come to you, and your team needs to be kept in this box, and they're my people, and why are you helping my people? Nobody's yours. So that is one of my biggest pet peeves in this business. And you need to get over your power trip. You need to get over yourself, and you need to be grateful that you're on an amazing team, an amazing company like this. And Brandi, I'll tell you what, it's so crazy, because I don't know if you followed that ADK that left you or not. Like, is she still where she went? Whatever. But it's so funny, because me and one of my downlines, one of my promoters that I signed, we were talking the other day, because I had a 200K that left our team, and she's now on to her like fifth company,
Oh,
sending messages to people in our company about her fifth company that she's joined since leaving. And we were just laughing like, oh my God, is this girl like pathetic? Like, if you were that busy and you were growing that much, you wouldn't have time to be sending messages to other network marketers trying to recruit them. It was just so funny. And I'm looking at, I just saw another 200K that's coming back to Lavelle. It's just so funny to me how I have not seen one person leave our team that's with the company that they left for. They've all like moved on to their fifth or sixth company, or they're just not doing well. It's crazy.
yeah, no, I agree. Cause like, I'm in another, like a kind of, and I love when, again, it's kind of the same thing, but like outside, like we started, like a group, like with other 200Ks, we kind of came together and like kind of picking other 200Ks, like when you get, cause I've never really had exposure to a lot of them. Like I started following a couple of them, and then I'd be like, hey, can I have you on a call or whatever, and just kind of put myself out there to them. But then, being a part of this group that we're in, some of like there's 15 or 16 200Ks, and one will say, oh, this one's going here, this one's going there, and it's funny because then they're all coming back, and it's like, I mean, if I ever didn't do this, I would never, I don't have it. I mean, I know my limits, and I'm honest with myself. I don't have it in me to go to another company. Like I just wouldn't do it anymore. I mean, as much as it's a passionate thing, like if I ever did anything else, it would be, how can I just share whatever I learned from this to someone else, but not doing a network marketing company. I love them. I think that they're obviously the way of the future, but I just love being able to hear from other like 200 that are like in your same shoes, because we all know like the newest person, I think on anybody's team, that's where it's at. It isn't where I'm at. I'm, like I'm old news. I've been doing this for 5 years. Like we learn from the newest people coming into our teams. And when we're connected with those newest people on teams, like it's only going to help you, not to, it's kind of like, Lisa, I'm sure you've had this, and I was just actually on a call the other day, new promoter on my team. And she was just like, you could tell there's some people that just want to know all the things. Like, it's like all the things they want to know. Like all they need to know really in the beginning is VIP 800 and how to get to free and how to take the product correctly. Are your friends, are they taking it correctly? That's like, I think really the only things they need to know, but they want to know about this. And then they want to know, how do you get this? And what do I need to be 40K? What do I need to do? Like get a carbon. And then like all of the things, like the ingredients and things like that in Thrive. And I'm like, you are just like way out there, like you got to rein it in a little bit. But those are those same people that I think are the ones that get all bent out of shape if you try to help somebody in your team, because they want to be the ones, they almost feel like that makes them look like you're undermining them, or they don't know something. I don't want to know anything. Like I've always played that card. I play that card pretty well, actually. Like I don't know, let me ask somebody, because it's like, it's just easier. I don't ever want to be a know-it-all. Now, if I'm put to it, where I have to know something, of course I know it, but it's almost, I think that's the mom in me too, that like, I just, I want my kids to figure some things out on their own. I don't always want to do it for them. I want them to figure it out on their own. Like, I don't want to tell you, yeah, I know you can find your ingredient list in the PDF on the resources tab, but why don't you go figure that out first? And see, because that's really what I did. Like, in the beginning, I figured a lot of stuff out on my own. And I just thought that was how you did it. Because again, having no experience, sometimes I think it's like, is it better to have experience coming into another company, or is it better to just be clueless like I was? Like, I think in my case, clueless works. And I think it comes down to like even being an expert on the product and being an expert on like what's going on in your team. Like, you have to know to grow. You have to know what the heck's going on in your team to be able to grow it. But you also don't have to know everything. You don't have to act like you're the know-it-all, because then that's where you don't find any leaders that way, because they're all just listen to what you're doing, and you've always got to be the leader. So if you're always the leader, how are you going to get some new people? I mean, somebody that's got 2 promoters on their team, they're a leader to me. And like, those are some of the best leaders, because they're just genuinely growing it and organically, like, what do we do? They're working together. They're excited about it. I don't want to get in there and mess that up, because I think sometimes leaders get in and they mess all that up, because we've been doing this for so long that I'm sorry, this stupid earring's really getting on my nerves.
No, you are like 100% right. I love it when I sign somebody that's never been in network marketing, because it's a clean slate. There's no preconceived. They're not because I think sometimes if they're coming from another network marketing company, people are like, I need to know all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, every 200K that I've interviewed on this call for the last year and a half says the same thing. They were ignorance on fire. I still don't know what's in the products. I've been doing this for 3.5 years. I've made $1 million. I don't know what's in the products. I don't know. I don't care. They're not killing any. They're natural. Nothing's killed anybody. We're good. I mean,
That's all you need to know, really. At the end of the day, that's it.
and I love when you say focus on VIP 800. That's it. That's all you did. Like, that's what is going to grow your team. It's not what's in the products. It's not even what's said on today's Zoom. If you're just focused on, I want to help somebody get VIP 800, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, you're going to grow. Like, you need to know nothing more beyond that. Literally. Like,
Yep.
if that's all you ever did, you'll go 200K. And I think that some people get in that analysis paralysis, where they're like, I need to know everything before I can start this. I don't know enough. I don't have my story's not good enough. I don't have enough knowledge on this. I don't know what this is. And then they completely stall out, when that's just not the answer. The answer is, you know what? Good question. I don't know. Let me go ask somebody that does. And then I think what that shows people that you're talking to is that you've got other people to lean on. They don't have to know everything either. Like, that would be refreshing to me if I was thinking about being a promoter, to know, oh, I don't need to know the answers either, because she didn't know, but then she went and asked somebody. I'll be able to do that same thing. I think that's huge. I wanted to also ask you because I mean, obviously being in 5 years, you've probably been through your friends and family. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure anybody that's going to thrive with you probably is. How do you like continue to sign people up? Like, how are you growing your network? Because I think that is, I always tell people that's the one thing that you have to do in network marketing, is you have to grow your network. If you're not going to grow your network, you're not going to grow. Like, at some point, even if you go 200K, you won't be able to sustain that or grow further if you're not continuing to build your network. It's network marketing. You have to. How do you grow yours?
My newest people, I would say in the last year, have all come from my customers. Like, when I get customers, I'm like, I am a ride or die with you, and I'm going to do everything to help you get it for free, because then I know that obviously kind of usually turns into promoters like me. So in the last year, I will say most of them they've all come from being customers when I get new promoters. And I've had a couple, like that. And when you said earlier, I meant to come back to that, like, the people that started with you aren't going to be the ones at the finish line. They're just not. Like, I mean, it's going to be half, I would say. Because when I look at where we started and we went to 200K, we were about halfway there. And that's when we had that kind of growth, that we had a good burst of growth, I think, go from like right towards the end, right when we were getting close to 200K. And it was when I finally just like had a moment of like, they were these people that I just didn't want to let go. Not that you have to let go of them, but they were these people that were constantly just draining me. And it was like, do I want to get to 200K? We're good here. Like, should we just stay here? And it was the ones that were just draining the life out of me. And they were the ones that kind of were past that point. I feel like, you've got that sweet spot when you first start. And not to say that when you have been doing this for 2 years and you're 4K and you haven't gotten to that next step, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that you're stopped there and you can't find that new like ball of momentum somewhere, because it's there. And I know it's there because it's happened to me. So I've had people that have quit, totally just say, I don't want, I don't want to have this account anymore, or Charlie quit it. Sorry. I don't want to have this account anymore. I want to be done with this. Well, and then they quit, and then they come back 2 years later, and like all of a sudden they've got, okay, now you were right. I should have did this, and I was doing this wrong. And so things like that, that's happened in my team. Also, I've had like people that were at 4K for a while, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but they just started going again. And so, that doesn't mean you're at 4K, or if you've been at your rank for a while, if you've never hit 4K, or if you've been sitting at 12K and wondering how do I get back, it will happen. And I think that comes from being consistent. That comes from, like recognizing if you are one of those people that just like thinks that you got to know everything, or if you are one of those people that just like throws out so much information that nobody's listening, or if you've always got to have like, because some people just, unfortunately need that attention. And I think sometimes it comes out that way. So I've had a couple promoters really just kind of realize or recognize I'm doing that. Like I need to stop. And so kind of pivot like how they were. So if you're one of those people that feel like you're stuck, you're never stuck. There's always ways to kind of like, change your style. And I think sometimes people just don't, you might say that about like the first thing when you're looking at your leg and you're looking to find volume. And it's always like, I have 40Ks, they'll be like, oh, well, she's not doing this and she didn't get this and she didn't do that. And it's like, hey, why are you saying about her? Like, what about you? Well, who have you brought into your team? Who have you helped to get free Thrive? Like, what are you doing? So if you are one of those people that are always looking at your team to find that, to make your rank, like that's a big, I think for two of them, I know that's exactly what they were doing. And it took like a real big smack in the face for them to go, that's what I'm doing. Like, I don't care what their volume is. I need to like find new people. So finding new people is a challenge, yes, but I think it's also, I always want to be known as like the Thrive girl, but I also don't want to be known as like the person that's in your face all the time. So, as our kids get older, like they get new friends and, their parents all of a sudden, what are you doing? What's that? I'm always like thriving out loud. So I think that's how I find new people. It's in my customers. I'm always helping them. And one other big thing is like saying to somebody, oh, just get 2 people and you get your product for free. Like that, I just want to like smack myself in the face when I hear it. So I've never done that. I never say that to my customers because they don't want to be a promoter for whatever reason. So it's not their job to get their product for free and to go find people. They smell a pyramid scheme or whatever you hear, the negative people, they truly feel like red flashing lights when you say that. So I have always just been like, listen, like you're feeling Thrive. Like, what are you feeling about it? And I will help them talk to their friends and family. So at this point, it's not my friends and family, it's my customers or my newest people that I'm getting Thrive in their system. I'm helping them and I'm making them feel like and see how easy this is to be a customer, just like I did. And then I help them share Thrive with their friends so that they can get their product for free. And so that's really where I mean, like, of course there's always customer groups or not customer groups, like Facebook groups, interests, like what you're interested in. Like that's another way that I've kind of found some new people. And honestly, not intending to, like I've been in, like I love Ray Dunn, obviously. I love French Bulldogs. So I've been in those groups for quite a while. And people like, I mean, I just comment on stuff or post things in there, not because I'm looking to find people. I get it. I do that because it's like my outlet. I love it. So I found people that way. Like they've messaged me and said, what are you doing? Like, what's that thing on your arm? So that's really like how I find new people.
I think that like for everybody, you just have to find like your groove, whether that's, Instagram, Facebook, out and about. Well, it's kind of hard with COVID right now to like be out and about or do like expos and events, but at some point this is going to end and we can get back to that kind of stuff. But I just think it's finding your groove and then getting consistent with it. Like it doesn't happen overnight. It takes like a while to build relationships with people in order to get them in that zone of now we're friends and they trust me and now they want to know more about what I do. And like, it's a genuine thing. I think it's like, I think people are just so antsy for everything to happen right now. And it's like a hurry up and wait game in network marketing. You just have to like be patient, be consistent. And then if you are, then it suddenly starts to like accumulate and pile up. You know, you finally start to sign people. You know, I think one of the hardest things for a lot of people, including myself, is the comparison game. Like, I think personally, it's one of the biggest things that kills people because they're so worried about where they're not and where someone else is, and they're not looking at it the right way. I always tell people, don't be like, you know what, comparison borders on that line of jealousy. Like, you start like, why is this person here and I'm not? They started the same time as me. What are they doing that I'm not doing? Maybe I'm not good at this. And our mind starts telling us all this negative thing, all of these negative things. And and a lot of times we start hating on people. We're like, why does she get that and I don't? I mean, it's such a horrible space to be in. And I think also, not only does it slow us down, but it derails people, literally. Like, I've seen it kill people's businesses. And then, you know, you hear things like, I, oh gosh, I've heard it all lately. Like, I don't want to make money for my upline, so I'm not going to work because she doesn't help me. The stupidest things that you could ever hear in your life. Like, how would you ever in your life let someone else dictate your success? I'm sorry, but nobody. I don't care if every single one of my uplines alienated me. I am never going to alienate my downline, and I am never giving up on my dreams. Like, nobody could cause me to do that. But what I love about like Lavelle, the beauty of this business, is the fact that you do have several uplines. So you're always going to be making somebody money that you don't think might deserve it or is working as hard or whatever. That happens all the time, but you can't let those things derail you. And I don't know, do you have any thoughts on either of those topics? Because they've been like happening a lot on my team lately.
Yeah, I could. Is this for a 2 hour Zoom? We could really go, but
I
yeah,
know,
I
right?
mean, seriously, like that happens all the time, and I'm just like, it's like why? So when I think, and my last time that I had somebody come to me with that, um, because like I'll listen to them, and then once they get it all out and like say what they want to say, because we all know like venting sometimes helps, but like as long as they vent up, like don't go telling anybody like you are absolutely not a business person if you go telling somebody your downline something that you feel like negative about, somebody in your upline. Because what are you doing? Like, I mean, listen, I don't get along with all of my upline. I just like you said, like not everybody is everybody's cup. We didn't start this to become BFFs and like make everyone like everybody. It's not reality. But I respect people that have come before me. If you've ever I've had negative things happen to me that caused turmoil in my team, and then I felt like I'm just like running around like a chicken trying to be like the principal and like try to you heard me say like calming down like some people that are like grown women and they're arguing, and I'm like, this is not why we do this. Her like you're saying like I think one in particular was said pretty much the same thing that you just
Go up
said.
there
That's
and
not okay for anybody because
okay, but let me spray. And then if that don't work, he said some.
I love that sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear if you're saying
Sorry
something.
about that. Go ahead. I muted.
But I had that happen, and I said to her finally, because like it is so hard for me to like say something that's gonna maybe hurt your feelings or maybe like you're gonna not like me for it. But I learned probably 2 years, 3 years into this that like that really, you arguing with somebody in my downline that is having an issue, or you're having an issue with somebody in your team, like that is just not why I do this. And so I finally had to like say to her, listen, you're looking at every excuse, because she was at a 12K for a while, and then she finally hit 40K, and then she fell backwards. And so she was like, well, it's this person, and I was like, listen, it is you. You're creating turmoil in your team. You've complained to everybody in your team. You've acknowledged everything that you don't like. Why are you doing this? And so are you doing this because she's not doing, like, because you want to beat her? Listen, I passed up 3 people at a 200K in my team. And so like, that's what I love about this. Cause again, I have no experience, but I know that not a lot of companies, you can't like pass somebody up. Like you're limited by what they do. And so for me, I passed up 3 of them, and it felt good, but I also didn't like it because I kind of felt bad that I kind of reached this point. But I never, like, and a lot of grenades were thrown at me so that I felt that I wouldn't make it there. But I did because I didn't care. Like, I mean, it was like I was doing it for my team to be a 200K team. It wasn't so much that I want to be 200K and I want to be on stage and I want to be in the magazines. And I didn't want any of that. I didn't want any of that. Honestly, when I hit 200K, I didn't even want it announced. So, and that, because I know people look around and go, oh, she's doing that. She's doing that. Like, I didn't do that. I've been doing it as long as her. Why am I not 200K? So for me, I have heard everything from, like, you know, families. Like, there's been people in my team that were like sisters arguing, and like, I don't ever want to see best friends like argue over this. So if, like, we'll have a conversation, and if, like, I let them vent, and then if I kind of like try to help, but after that, it's like, listen, you're looking for excuses. You're looking to argue about something because you're not happy with where you are. It has nothing to do with who's above you, who's below you. It has everything to do with you. And until people really just like recognize that, like, just say, yeah, it's me. I suck right now. Like, I'm in a bad mood. I'm in a bad space. Like, I just need to get, like, whatever it is. And just know that, like, just like I said, there are people that need a $28 paycheck. And if you look at it like, just like as if, you know, some people are closet thrivers or afraid to share the business or afraid to share the product, like, you're really just looking at this in the wrong way, because you don't want people to like make fun of you for sharing this or whatever. Why don't you look at it like you are literally holding something from them and it's wrong? Like, you are the person in the wrong, because like you're withholding something so important that could change so much for them in a great way. But you're looking at it like, oh, I don't want them to make fun of me or think that I'm like selling them something. So same thing with the business aspect. If you're a person that is like looking at every reason as to why you're not where you want to be, have you like said to yourself, could it be you? Could it be you that like maybe you need like to dig in and say, why am I here? Really, what's going on in my team? Am I a good leader? Am I good at getting my own customers free thrive? Am I trying to just like get my volume? Are you always looking at your volume? Because if it's the first thing that you do, you look at your volume when you log into your cloud office, you're looking at the wrong thing. What you should do is go down, look at my team updates. Who has come into your team? Who can you reach out and say, hey, I'm Brandi. Like, well, I'm glad you just got a new promoter. Like, oh my gosh, you're a new promoter on a team. How you doing? I'm here to help if you need anything. Like, are you doing that? But if you're always looking in Tuesday, 1 o'clock Eastern, looking at your paycheck, and you're always looking at your volume, what are you doing? Like, you're focusing on the wrong things. Look at your VIP report. Talk to your leaders and see who's new, because, you know, you can only look 4 levels in there. So that's what I do. Like, I will flip it. Like, I will let them vent. I really try to push it to my team. So like, don't vent down, vent up if you have to. And once you vent, like, if you come to me, I think my team knows now, if they come to me with a problem, I'm going to fix it, or I'm going to tell you how to fix it. But then after that, I don't want to hear it anymore, because like at some point, that's where I had to like kind of like cut it off, because I was like, literally, my husband was like, Brandi, like, what are you doing? Like, you're on the phone for 2 hours listening to the same thing with the same promoter. And I'm like, that's the truth. It's usually the same couple ones that like kind of like to cause the rifts. And it's usually they're jealous. And it's like, if you weren't spending all this time looking at where you're, you know, like being jealous of what somebody else is doing, it's one thing to look and be like motivated by somebody else growing and, oh, I want to be doing that. And I bet I can do that. If she did that, I can do that. You look at it that way. It's different than looking at it like, why did she get there? Like, I signed up same time she did. How is she there where she's at? I know she wasn't on this call. She didn't get on this Zoom. How is she's not doing anything. She's just collecting a check. So it's like, it's a matter of flipping the perspective. But if you come to me with a problem, I will try to, and I feel like there's nothing you can't like fix. I don't want to say fix, because I'm a fix it person. There are some things you can't fix, but there are some things that like really aren't worth your time. And if you spend your time on like a lot of drama, then you got a drama leg that you don't want to bother with. Like, you find that keep going until you find somebody that just genuinely loves this product and just genuinely wants more. And there's that lady that, you know, get that first $228 check like I found. And that's really why I do it, because there's more. You know, there's so many more. So when you're looking at like, you're spending all your time in the wrong directions, looking at people and trying to help people, or trying to like just listen to the drama, you have to cut it off. Because if you are in a business sense, if you're looking at this as a business, if you owned a boutique and if somebody come into your store and was like, you know, giving you all kind of attitude and, you know, not showing up on time or whatever, what would you do? Would you stand there and like talk about it to somebody else? Would you call, you know, or you would like check it, right? You you nip it in the bud and be done with it. So it's the same thing. Like, you're not the boss. This isn't your, like, your entire team. Like, it's not your possession. Like, people have the right to do what they want to do, and they're gonna do it if they want to do it. But if you're a person that, you know, if you don't want to follow yourself, if you feel like you're in a bad mood that day, just, you know, like, take a second and recognize it, and then just go, you know, like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the common denominator here. And, like, let's just wipe the slate clean, start all over, because you can always start over tomorrow. So anyway, that was a lot. There you go.
No, it's all good. And you just, one of the things I call it the 5-minute rule is, you know, come to me on my team. Because I used to get caught literally on the phone 2 hours listening to someone bitch and complain. And it's like, that's 2 hours I just lost of my life and they lost of theirs. So it's the 5-minute rule. If you're going to get with me about an issue, anyone in my downline, you have 5 minutes to gripe and complain. Maybe you're having a bad day, whatever it is. And then after that, we figure out a solution. If you're not ready to do 5 minutes, then don't even contact me. Because if you don't cut it off somewhere, then people will go on and on. There's never a solution in listening to the problem. It's get it out, gripe for 5 minutes, whether it's about someone on your team or something going on in your life. And then what do we do from here to change it? What can we do to make this better? And it's so true, because we can get caught up in these situations where, you know, let's just face it, guys, we're in a business. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Are Tuesdays at 1 o'clock or 12 Eastern rainbow? Oh my God. Yeah. 1 o'clock is like the best day ever. But, you know, it's so crazy. Some people today will message me with tears of joy, and there will be some people in my inbox saying, why wasn't my paycheck bigger? And the answer is, you've got to look in the mirror. What were your actions last week? How many new customers did you bring in? How many new promoters did you personally sign? How many new people have you talked to? You know, and sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror and realize.
Not a good spot to build a fort.
Hold on a minute. But well, it is, you guys, we did just get paid, which is exciting. So you guys don't forget to make your payday post. Brandi, is there anything that you wanted to end this out with? Like, if you could give one tip, like above all other tips, like in order to succeed in this business, this one thing has to happen, what would it be?
Believe in your story. So I think believing in your story, like your Thrive experience, obviously, and then believing in like your story as you grow, because it's going to change. Everything changes all the time. And even when you feel like you're going to quit, if just like if I weren't a promoter, would I still be thriving? Absolutely. So I say that all the time. Like if I just threw my hands up in the air and said I'm done, like I'd still take Thrive. And so for me, I know that that's more than just take and thrive, so believing in your story, believing in your team, and being a good leader, no matter where you are. If you've got one promoter on your team, you are a leader and they're looking at you going, what do I do? And so getting good at connecting your leaders and just like not being the person that's got to be the front and center and the one that's always talking, that's going to help grow your teams like for tenfold. So that's,
oh my gosh, that's the best tip ever. You don't have to be front and center. The more you're making other people front and center, the faster you're going to grow. That is the truth. One of the best tips given on this call. I hope you guys wrote that down. Well, Brandi, I just want to thank you so much for taking the last hour and just pouring into everybody and sharing. I'm already getting messages in my inbox. Oh my gosh, this call is amazing. So there were definitely people on here who needed to hear something that you said today. And I just appreciate you so much for taking the time out from your team and pouring into this team. And we just really appreciate you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Brandi. And you guys, thank you. Thank you guys all for hopping on today, pouring into yourselves, making sure you show up every single Tuesday at 12 noon Eastern. The same link every week, guys. Different leader in the company that I interview. I'm actually going to be going to 80Ks because, y'all, 200Ks don't have all the answers. And I've been through, I think I've interviewed over 7,200Ks. So it's time to interview some 80Ks. We're going to bring some of those in also. I do think I have Jamie Peckham might be starting me out next month. I think she might be the first person I'm interviewing next Tuesday. So you guys, make sure that you're hopping on. Save this link in your phone, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Happy payday. Love you guys.